And our subject for today is how to manage your emotions. And we are especially talking about one emotion, right?
That
The
is
one is,
correct.
it's your turn. Now, which is it?
So there's 5 stages of grief. And so with grief, there's also a mindset around grief. So what I thought was it would be maybe worthwhile looking at grief and mindset. So in other words, there are 5 stages which you are going to go through. That's a given. The time frame and the intensity of that does depend on your mindset, which is why it's quite nice to tie in mindset and grief, because it's a guarantee 150,000% that at some point in your life you are going to lose somebody you love. You just are. An
Right.
animal, a friend, somebody, a parent.
Yeah, and that's also just to translate and for you to learn German word is
Thank you.
Trauer. Ne? So the grief is Trauer or mourning. You perhaps know it in English, and it's when you're really sad. Ne? So, and
Yeah.
if that happens, if you lost somebody or if you lose somebody in a friendship or I don't know, or even in this conflict at the moment with Ukraine, it's the same. No? So there are so many people losing loved ones. Yeah. So the first one is the denial. That's the first step. And what should we, yeah, think of it?
If possible, when you are in that first stage of it, the denial, the quicker that you can move out of the denial, the easier it is to then move forward. Because as we know with denial, it's that possibility of going into an isolation and not wanting to face up to what is. So
Mm.
by shifting your mindset, and it sounds so easy, and when you're in the thick of this, it is really, really hard. I get that. I really, really do. It's just if you are aware that that's what it is,
Hmm.
then maybe you can find a way not to isolate yourself and do whatever you can to not feel as isolated and to be more accepting, which I understand is the very last step. I get
Yeah.
that.
And
Just
the
you don't
normal
want to
thing is
say,
that you react like this. Why me? Where did it go wrong? Or no, so you are really in this kind of uh, questioning mode. No? But it can also be that you just say, I'm grateful for what it was, and then also go through this emotion and then step forward, right?
yeah, I mean, the denial's more around it's not believing that it's actually happened. So it's almost kind of but talking yourself into believing that whatever's going on is actually not real. So that's where the denial is. The second one being anger is that why me and I can't believe this, and it's that really destructive place of not seeing clearly and not being able to put
Mm.
things into perspective because you're so full of anger. And again, I understand that that's a natural stage of grief, but the time frame that you stay in these emotions, all these stages, is up to you. Because interestingly enough, when an emotion happens, the actual emotion itself lasts for 20 minutes.
Mm.
Everything after that is your self-talk.
Right,
You know,
right.
you'll sit and you'll go, I can't believe it. And then they did that. And then they did that. And what were they? Da, da, da. And it's that over analyzing self talk that goes on, which feeds it. But actually, your emotion is only 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just listened to a keynote, and there was a guy who said that you become a victim can be coincidentally or because something has happened. But if you stay in the victim mode, that's your decision. Yeah.
Mm.
And this is as well the same. No? If you go deeper and deeper in the spiral, because the next step of anger is what?
Bargaining.
Yeah. So it's only it's the question if I only had done this or if I, no?
And
Yeah.
I think that that is such a normal thing to do. I remember before my dad passed, because he passed a year ago, and I remember before he passed, my sister always said to me, don't have regrets. He's elderly, he's got Alzheimer's, he's just like, don't have regrets. Make sure that you just, you see him when you can, you speak to him when you can, because you don't want to have that. And I don't. but sometimes people do. If only I had done X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and what happens at the next step if you're still in this mindset, then it can become a depression, and this is already like a disease already. So it gets deeper and deeper and comes into every cell that you have. And yeah.
And that depression really is something, and I know it's something that you are familiar with. It's not something that I've had, but I've definitely had low moments. But depression is definitely something of living a lot in the past and dwelling on that and focusing on that as opposed to being in the present. So what would you be able to do, assuming that, depending on the severity of it, but if you were feeling like you were going into that, what are the things you could possibly do? Could you exercise? Could you eat healthy? Could you get some sun? Could you be out in nature? Could you meditate? Could you do some journaling? Like, what can you actually do that you don't stay in that space?
Right. And then the last thing to become better is to accept this situation. Yeah, because it is like this. And if we allow ourselves, this is life, and life doesn't ask if sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And we learn something from it at the end. And this is acceptance.
And having these stages and being familiar with them also does make it a bit easier. Because then you don't feel like you're going crazy when you're going through something, because you become more present to these are the natural stages of grief. However, what you decide to do with that information and the time frame, obviously that is up to you.
Yeah. And I love the sentence you gave me about all the whole process, and just say it. What can help people perhaps?
Well, I'm a massive believer in managing your lifestyle on a daily, like what you eat, the amount of sleep you get, the spiritual practice, the religious practice, meditation, connection with friends. So just connecting with yourself, because my belief is if you look after your lifestyle and you look after your health, no matter what life throws at you, you somehow have better tools to cope.
Yeah. And there's always a treasure in all the scares and in all the frightening situations we have. No? And you gave me a wonderful sentence once. You said, we are all broken in some form, and repairing the damage, it becomes gold. And this is, we also say in German, make wisdom out of your past. And this is it. No?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we've got another ladies retreat at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month. And I have to say, I mean, I'm so happy with the amount of ladies that are going to be joining this next one. It's phenomenal, and it's great, and it's only growing. So what that shows me is there are people out there that are actually wanting a place where they can connect with themselves, and it's all about self-care and self-love. So that just in itself shows you how important it is for us to look after ourselves.
Yes. And this is the connection in Cape Town, and I have the connection in Mallorca, on the little island here in Europe. We are 20 people coming together, connecting them, mostly women as well. So, and we are doing like little hotspots in the world now. You in Cape Town, me here, and then we bring them once together, and this is amazing. And so, if you want to connect to us, just leave a comment under the video, and we are happy to help and to inspire you every Monday normally, and then we will keep on going. We wish you a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.